Good day, everyone. Ali Safi here from Safi Financial Network. Today is January 6, 2025. Here is another daily analysis. All right, just started with S&P 500 daily chart. So we just got a pretty wacky day, I should say. Market just going all the way up and recaptured SMA 50 and SMA 20 early session, getting above 6,000 and rejected to the downside. So this tells me that if market get any rally, sellers are going to be here, and it's not going to be a strong momentum to the upside, at least for the time being. We may see new all-time high, but I'm kind of like a concern about the movement for the next few weeks, especially in 2025. When I just did my market outlook, I mentioned we may see lots of choppiness, lots of back and forth with the market in 2025. It's not going to be easy. And since the beginning of this year, market is kind of like a showing the same behavior. Market is just going down, then getting back up, and we may see some kind of like a very choppiness down the road through the 2025. S&P 500 cannot manage daily close above 6,000. Sellers just took control, especially last hour of the trading session, and the market just getting back down. It was not a positive or negative, I should say, regardless of a candle, positive candle, it was kind of like a neutral session. Some names actually had a fantastic move, Meta, Google, semiconductors. The other names actually were not that good. So we will get to those ones as well. But all in all, I should say market just rally all the way up to higher high, then getting back to the downside, and ultimately S&P 500 just a touch below SMA 50, SMA 20, and close at 59.78 right now. So it's kind of like a very choppy momentum today. Moving on to Nasdaq, it's kind of like the same approach. Nasdaq is getting back to the upside. However, a bullish case for Nasdaq is stronger. And I should say, if you see market is rallying to the upside, that would be through Nasdaq and that would be through semiconductors, just because they're kind of like a forming a nice, here is kind of like a wedge pattern. If it breaks to the upside, if it goes above this pivotal point, and that would be kind of like a confirmation for new all-time high, potentially getting to new highs. But all in all, I should say we need to see if market can recapture this pivotal point around 22,000. If Nasdaq can go above 22,000, then 23,000 is coming down the road. However, at the same time, if it goes below 2025 pivot, which is last week pivot, then we can see a deeper corrective move still is going to be valid to the downside, 19,100 to 19,800. Right now, it is in choppiness, no man's land. But I should say, I'm kind of like giving a camp that a market can go higher because semiconductors are forming a better pattern. So we will get to those ones. And Nasdaq is going to be leader within this rally. If you go to Dow Jones, you will see that the better picture of what do I mean by sellers to control. So here is strong resistance here right around this 23rd of December. So this 23rd December pivot is very, very strong. And also, this is the area that initiate this wide range bar. Here's the pivot. And today, Dow just going all the way up pretty close to 43,000 and sold off sharply. So you see that this is kind of like a higher shadow, and the Dow is getting back to the negative territory right now. It's kind of like a 50 points to the downside after hours. And this future market tells me that still Dow is in choppiness consolidation. And also, if you go to the bigger picture, which is a weekly chart, you see that here's the pole and here's the flag. So it's forming kind of like a bear flag potentially for a deeper corrective move to the downside. And that would be the scenario for Dow and heavy value names. Moving on to gold. Gold was negative today, however, very choppy. So gold going all the way down, then getting back to the upside. And right now, it's kind of like a choppiness to make a decision which way it wants to go. It wants to go higher. We need to have a breakthrough above 27.17. If it cannot manage 27.17 above, then it can go a deeper correction to 24.89 to 2500. So we will see how it goes. But I would say the best case scenario for me at least is gonna be here. If we get a deeper corrective move, scale like this, we're gonna get some scale like this, and that would be kind of like the end of the corrective move for gold for a better rally to the upside. As you know, I'm kind of like a bullish on gold in 2025, just it's a matter of time when we get to 3,000 area. Moving on to silver, which was going to the upside on the opposite side, on the flip side of gold. So silver is outperforming gold, obviously, these days. Still looking for kind of like a choppiness down the road. If silver gets back to the bear side, that would be the ideal scenario if you get to 27.40. If it doesn't, then silver, I would say the bottom is here. And any consolidation choppiness leads us to potential new highs. So the highs for silver is going to be substantial this year. I'm kind of like a forecasting 40 to $44 silver this year. So we will see how it goes if it's going to hit that level. Moving on to crude, after a nice momentum to the upside, pretty good, solid overbought condition right now. Bull flag getting above all these patterns, all these pivots. And right now we are just getting to this gap and this wide range bar. Sellers to control. This is a very natural reaction. We may see some kind of like a pullback if it forms another bullish consolidation. That would be pretty solid pattern for tackle to $75 to $76. If that pattern forms, then the next level is going to be $75 to $76. So we will see how it goes. Right now, it's kind of like a short-term overbought condition, and it needs to have a digestive move through consolidation or kind of like a small pullback. Moving on to Bitcoin. Nice rally to the upside, almost 3%, recaptured 100,000 level, which is bullish case. So for those ones who are following my channel, I was waiting for this corrective move to be finished somewhere around here, still looking for that one, but not this time. So we may see some kind of like even new all-time high could be a potential scenario for Bitcoin 110. This is very, very interesting. But after that, I should say February onwards, we should see some kind of like a choppiness, a volatile price action for Bitcoin. And that volatility can stays there for a long time. I would say few months, but after a few months, when corrective move is finished, we should see a substantial rally to the upside. The same for Ethereum. Ethereum recaptured 3,600 and right now 3,692. And we should see some kind of like a movement for Ethereum. Bond yield, just on the flip side, gapped up, going down, and getting into kind of like a bearish momentum. I'm not sure if this is kind of like a bearish consolidation or we should see some kind of like a getting back to 4.40%. If it gets here, then we should see a nice reverse head and shoulder for a final rally to 4.6% to the upside. That would be a substantial top for bond yield. I would say we are kind of like at the last weeks for a bond yield at this area. Then after that, especially when Trump is coming back to admin, we should see a weaker dollar is coming. Treasury, just the choppiness getting to the new low. I would say Treasury is kind of like in those scenarios that we may see a capitulation potentially to this area to 85, 86, and then getting back substantially to the upside. That would be the best case scenario for Treasury. However, I would say for those ones who wants to be protective in against any potential recession or kind of like a move to the downside for a stock market, this is a good area to have Treasury in your portfolio. VIX just going up and down. Today we just got 9 cents down. It's forming a bottom here, I would say, but the next level for VIX is going to be spiky, something like August low. So we will see how it goes. Dixie, just a sharp sell-off today, going all the way down, supported 107. I would say Dixie is kind of like a leading for the dollar indication, and the dollar is going to get weaker and weaker down the road. Magma indicator, just a nice pop. And this is, I would say, forming a pretty nice pattern to the upside. We may see some kind of like bull flag, and this bull flag trigger to the upside 1727. If we get above this 1775, we may see new all-time high, which can happen. I would say there is going to be a strong potential possibility for that one. Apple, this is a pivot. Doji bar on Friday, getting back to the upside, reacted to this breakout zone. Sellers to control Amazon. The same pattern, but getting a stronger, just challenging this pivot. Nice pop, hold up positive the entire session. Strong name was Meta. Meta nicely getting back to the upside, just a touch below new all-time high. So we may see Meta just another push to new all-time high, and that would be kind of like a very interesting Meta. We have it in our portfolio since 2020 to bottom around 90 $94. You can't imagine. My self-subscriber, we just got Meta. We have scaled down, was still a decent portion of my portfolio is in Meta. I believe 4 to 5%, which is pretty good. So we have Meta nicely in our portfolio, pretty close to new all-time high. Microsoft, this is one of those names that concerns me, folks. We got pop, rally all the way up to recapture this trend line, but here's the supply area and see what happened. Microsoft just rejected 435, getting back to the downside. Um, and last hour trading session, it just formed a doji bar here. Google, strong name today, like Meta, going back to very positive momentum. We may see new all-time high for Google is coming. Netflix, a very choppy day, finally managed positive, but still it is weak. Tesla gapped up nicely, getting all the way down. Last hour trading session, 61 cents up. So Tesla, after Friday, kind of like a move to the upside, seems like the confirmation is not that strong. So sellers to control when we get to this gap here, and also this is a breakout zone. So we will see. If Tesla just consolidating here, that's bullish. We may see potential double top or even new all-time high. But if it gets back down tomorrow, if it take out this pivotal point, we may see a deeper corrective move potentially to this top, which is going to be 260 to 270 for Tesla. All right, moving on to semiconductor index, SMH. So you know that I'm pretty positive in this name, just because semis are kind of like taking the leadership again. And that came up today. SOX, the same pattern here. It's just forming a pretty nice breakout. So we may see some kind of like a movement, especially for SOX and semiconductors to 225, sorry, 250 to 252. So we'll see if it gets kind of like a better confirmation tomorrow or by end of this week. This is very good pattern. So when I see this, I should say the rally is continuing. However, sellers need to be away. Otherwise, this can put pressure, lots of pressure on the short side. Taiwan Semiconductor, new all-time high, 220 today. Remember, we were bullish on this, and this one break out nicely. AMD, 3%, 3.33%. Seems like the bottom is there for AMD, at least for short term. We can get to 144, which is going to be the scenario here. NVIDIA, 3.43% to the upside, a fantastic move. And I believe still NVIDIA can go to 167 to 172 if semi continues their rally. But I would say be careful with this. Sellers are Like this, they're gonna just take control when Nvidia is moving to the upside. Market is kind of like a diverging. Some sectors are good, some sectors are not following. Texas Instrument nicely getting back above this trend line. Right now it's bullish. Lam Research 2.87, getting back to the upside, and $80 is the area that sellers took control. So this is kind of like a rejection from this area. We need to see some kind of like a stronger move to get above 82 to 84. This wide range bar is very strong, folks. If we get above this $86, that would be a huge run to 100 level area. So we will see how it goes with this name. I would say there are lots of resistance here, but if energy take up nicely, we should see some kind of like a good momentum to the upside. XLF, which is financials, forming a bear flag. They didn't do well today. KBE, the same pattern here, rejection, $57. KRE, the same pattern here, $62 rejected. JP Morgan, $2.43 down. This is rejected as well. This name can go lower if this pattern forms properly, it can go to 225, even lower. Goldman Sachs, $3.26 up today, but rejected at that area. Bank of America, the same pattern here. You see that gapped up rejection. So the lots of rejection higher wicks are coming with different names. This is banking sector, Wells Fargo, 72 cents down. Look at the gold miners. They're just reversing nicely. And this tells me that still a correction is not finished with these names. GDXJ, gold miner juniors are the same here. AEM dollar 42 cents down, reversing nicely. I would say this one can go lower. And the pattern is not as strong at all. Newmont is forming another bearish consolidation to the downside. And Franco-Nevada, after a nice pop last week, we just got $120 this week. And nice bearish engulfing at the top here. Gold Barrick, the same scenario here. I would say the final capitulation is coming, potentially $13 to $14 down the road. If you go to energy sector, you see that gapped up nicely, rally all the way up. This is XLE, $88 rejection to the downside and managed negative. So these rejections telling me that market in some sectors, they are in overbought condition, short-term overbought condition. Some sectors, they are in dead cat bounce and they're getting ready for another sell-off. OIH, the same pattern here. Look at that. So we just got into this wide range bar here and rejected nicely. This is the same for Exxon, which is laggard, and Chevron managed negative today. So it goes to this wide range bar, middle of this wide range bar, this gap, hidden gap, and then getting back to the downside. 150 seems like that was a hard time for Chevron today. All right, folks, again, we may see rallies, but rallies not in all names. Some names, they can have rally, and some names, they're just finishing their rally, and we should get back to bearish momentum soon. All right, folks, have a great evening. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.